This talk is going to be the complete polar opposite of the talk you just had. I'm going to talk to you about design, and I'm going to shout, I think. Design of retail, design of food and beverage service, coffee shops. And one thing I always like to say is that the changes in retail are really structural. There are some tectonic shifts that are happening in retail. We can see the difficulties in the business, Toys R Us going bust not long ago, and many, many others. 4,000 stores closed in America last year, and thousands will close this year. So there are some really, really critical structural changes that are happening in retail, and of course retail affects the coffee business. So I'm from a business called Portland, it's my business, and we have a couple of mantras when it comes to retail design. We say people and places, not buildings and spaces. For us, design of retail environments and experiences is not about just interior design. It's about understanding the new way consumers are engaging with brands and branded environments. The second thing we say is we don't do badges. For us, branding is not about logos and communication. It's about behavior. It's about designing the behavior as well as the environment, or what we call rituals. And the third thing is that we're in the storytelling business. It's about crafting stories and translating those into consumer experiences. And future-proofing is a really critical part. So I've got about 100 slides and I've got 20 minutes, so strap in, because this is going to be fast. So what we call consumers is not X or Y or Z, it's C, because the key demand from these consumers is control of everything they do in their engagement with brands, whether it be about transparency or convenience or simplicity. Control is at the key. And very importantly, Generation C obviously is very, very connected, constantly connected. They want to collaborate with brands, they want to co-create, they want to shape the future of a brand. They build communities, and coffee is a big part of that. Build communities around brands, and they have a conscience. They care about the role a brand plays in their lives, not how much stuff they can sell them. And these are critical C's for Generation C. And therefore, there's a shift from transaction, merely buying and selling, to interaction. And from interaction to intimacy. How do you get intimate with your customers, with consumers? Intimacy is the holy grail of retail. And there's a shift from marketing communications, talking to or worse at customers, to marketing connection, developing truly authentic, deeper emotional connection with your brand. Therefore, there's a shift from point of sale to point of connection. How we can create wonderful experiences to connect with customers. In this case, a tea brand in Japan with a digital display on a table of the flowers that are part of the floral tea. So participation is the new consumption. How do we create authentic, emotionally engaging, participatory experiences? So we believe that the winners in retail will do four things, just four things in the future. The first thing they'll do is reinvent convenience. What is the new convenience in this increasingly digitized, transient lives we lead? We lead feed lives that are faster than ever before. How do brands respond to this? Well, it's about stripping out complexity. It's about absolutely creating hyper-convenient experiences. It's about creating opportunities to engage with brands at all parts of the journey, not just in the shop. Are you getting interference? Is that okay? It's the beard, no? Okay. So it's about creating convenience and experiences that are simple, easy, and respond to customers' demand for things, having things now. This on-demand economy that we live in. And Wheelie's is a great example of that. We've talked about autonomous cars, or there's autonomous shops that are coming. And Wheelie's is not only autonomous, but it moves as well. So it's got no people, it's completely autonomous experience, but it moves to where the customers are. Click and collect, robotics used in click and collect, hyper convenient. And Eatsa, a fast food, app-based food offer that has this great kind of massive vending machine, if you like. Really convenient. And then part of convenience is what we call conversational commerce, the idea of artificial intelligence and bots and how we can use that for convenience. And of course, Alexa and all voice-operated, voice response systems are beginning to really permeate within store as well and outside the home. And how do, as a brand, in this case Johnnie Walker, how do you own the voice real estate, as we're calling it? And Johnnie Walker owns, in some instances, the response to malt whiskey. So bots and digitized response, one-to-one communication, more and more consumers will be engaging with brands on chat platforms. Very much like you engage with your friends, you speak to your friends, you'll be increasingly speaking to brands through chat. And that's really, really interesting. 57% of global consumers are keen on the premise of an artificial intelligent personal assistant. Just shifting for a second, did you know if you go to Starbucks and you try every one of the 6,000 options you have in all the combinations, it will take you 17 years to finish them all if you have one a day. Hyper-convenience, huh? Really interestingly, there was a piece of research done in the jam category of a supermarket, whereby there were 24 lines of jam and only 3% of the people shopped that passed that category. That was reduced to 6 lines of jam and 30% of the people shopped. And when Procter & Gamble reduced their line of Head & Shoulders from 26 to 15, now how many types of dandruff are there? 26 to 15, sales increased by 10%. No other activity, no other new marketing, just reducing the complexity. So it's a choice paradox. Too much choice kills choice. What we say is edit, strip out complexity to amplify. Really, really key part of hyper-convenience. The second thing the winners will do is redefine loyalty. What is the new loyalty? Is it about earn and burn? Is it about points and deals? Well, no, it isn't. They are increasingly commodities. It's about creating really, really true, authentic, emotional engagement with customers, yes, on digital platforms that are gamified and create real engagement and part of brand communities. So there's shifts that we need to do as a brand to create this loyalty. A shift from buying and selling to showing and telling. This happens a lot in the coffee industry, of course, but to show the process that tells the story. The second is a shift from not thinking about merchandise, just product, but thinking about mementos, a memory of that experience. How can we do that? How can we create these memories? I mean, customization is a big part of that, and Magnum Ice Creams created this wonderful customized experience in shopping centers. And the third shift is this idea of from product to platform. This idea that it's not just an artifact, just a product, but it's a platform that is built around that. And of course, Nike do that very, very well, as do Deuce in Sydney, which is a biker brand that has a real community, a real platform around their brand, both online and offline. So it's a shift from product commodities to product communities. The third thing the winners will do is reimagine the experience. What is the new retail experience, the new physical and digital experience? Well, we talk a lot about fourth place. And third place is this kind of place between home and work where people hang out. Starbucks was sort of driven by it, and coffee shops are that, I suppose. But we're thinking about really what is fourth place? What is a new manifestation of the new notion of a store, if you like? Well, we believe that it is where swelchiness happens. So it's where shopping, working, entertainment, learning, culture, and hospitality come together. These are the new notions of the store. No longer about buying stuff, stuff on shelves, stuff hanging on rails. Shops are much more around community, around engagement, around participation, learning, and culture, and increasingly about places to work. I mean, Ace Hotel, what is it? Is it a hotel? Well, it is, but it's also an office, and it's a shop, and it's a place to have lectures and learn stuff and eat and drink, and it's full 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and it is the new kind of place we want from our physical, I'm not even calling them shops anymore, our physical spaces. Well, these spaces are increasingly soft and programmed and fluid, no longer about monolithic architecture and interior design. It's about creating platforms, stage sets, if you like, in creating amazing brand experiences and engagement with other customers within that brand. These spaces are hybrid as well. Fourth Place is hybrid. It's no longer about fashion and books and coffee and electronics and whatever. It's no longer about retail categories. It's about bringing categories together to create fantastic experiences, whether it's coffee and bike shops or whatever. And you're seeing this really happen more and more now. So it's not about storytelling. It's not about just telling customers, not about, dare I say it, just advertising, but it's about story doing. It's about participatory experiences, and this is the Starbucks theme park, I call it, 600-acre coffee farm in China. That's really creating a quite amazing experience. And Italy have just opened a similar thing in Bologna around food. So these sort of destinations around food and coffee and retail. Anthropology have also opened a big kind of, I won't call it a theme park, but an experience, which has got Urban Outfitters, Anthropology, a hotel, a spa, lecture theatres, amazing place in Philadelphia. So it's about being space curators, not just filler of shelves. It's about shifting from visual merchandising to visceral merchandising. Merchandising that's more like a installation, more participatory. I mean, Italy merchandises food so well. We can learn a lot from the way they merchandise food. That is really quite exciting. So learning about not just about designing environments and interiors and old school kind of retail design, but it's about designing branded rituals. Designing rituals that are really representing your brand and the essence of your brand and the experience that is. And T2, T-Shop does that really well. We can see that more and more happening where, you know, what is a welcome ritual in a shop? Is it just another gondola with 50% off? What is a changing room ritual? Is it just another room with a curtain and a mirror? So we've got to start designing these experiences, not just, as I say, the architecture. And to do that, we have this idea of the 6 E's of shopping, where we help our clients create rituals and design rituals. The first E is, what is the welcome ritual? What is that initial engagement? The second E is, how do you keep me engaged? How do you keep me interested? What is the entertainment piece? The third piece is, what am I learning today? What is new here? What are you teaching me? The fourth is, what can I do with this thing? What part does it play in my life? What can I do with it? How can I make it more interesting, and how can I participate? And how do you make it easy for me? Am I going to take it away? Are you going to deliver it? Am I going to collect it? How is it packaged? Is it gift wrap? What is the ease part of it? And third, and sixthly, the sixth E, most importantly, is exclusivity. How is it for me? How is it customized and personalized? The 6 E's are the basis of ritualization in retail. And we talk a lot about parallel retail, the digital domain, and how it begins to converge with the physical, and how we can create these much deeper, magnified experiences using digital in a physical space. Whether it's augmented reality, whether it's virtual reality, whether it's this mad place, which is weird and wonderful. It's a restaurant, and there's one in Shanghai, and there's one in Beijing. And in this restaurant, you sit on a semicircular table with a screen in front of you in Shanghai, and in Beijing, the same setup. And the people in the other restaurant are seen on the screen, so you feel like you're sitting around the same table. A kind of digital, crazy experience, but really interesting. So the idea of online and offline brands really is yesterday's news. There's no such thing now, or won't be, as a brand, you're online or offline. You'll be online and offline, digital and physical. Experiences will be at the same time digital and physical. We flip from one to the other in milliseconds. But the key thing for brands is to not just deliver digital and physical, but to deliver fast and slow. Fast experiences, hyper-convenient, simple, zero complexity, zero friction, physical and digital, and then immersive, participatory, storytelling, much more time and dwell and community, physical and digital. So the idea of online or offline brands is an anathema, won't exist. So the fourth thing the winners will do is reposition value. What is value in the future to customers? Is it just about price? There's lots of things, but one of them is that customization, this idea of personalization, whether it's McDonald's personalizing menus or whether it's 3D printed chocolate of your face, or sound domes over the table where you put your own device in and listen to your own music on your own table, or food that changes your mood or responds to your mood through testing of your DNA. Lots and lots of ways that we can really begin to tell stories, create stories around your brand, around personalization. So become a story owner rather than a product owner. Your brand is a story. Your brand is about participation and rituals, not about logos and communication. And one of my favorites is Conflict Kitchen. When we talk about stories, this is a restaurant that has food from all the places that America are in conflict with. And I hope, for God's sake, we don't have Syrian food in the next few weeks, but it's really interesting kind of idea. So co-create your story, your customers. Don't forget, social media is not a broadcast channel. It's a dialogue channel. And customers want to feel like the protagonist, the hero of your brand story, as opposed to the victim of your campaign. It's not about footfall any longer. It's about voiceful and footfall. What is the voiceful you have as a brand on this new customer journey? That's much more complicated. It isn't just about what happens in the shop. It's well before and well after. This journey is stretching and becoming more and more complicated, more and more physical and digital. And of course, data is at the heart of that. And how can we capture the data, both structured within the physical space or unstructured on social media? How do we capture that data and really, really leverage it to ensure we can give our customers personalized and customized experiences? 28%, it's an amazing stat, 28% of consumers want brands to know exactly who they are when they walk into a store. And 32% expect retailers to know what prior online research they've done to receive a better service. That's a pretty compelling piece of research done by Salesforce. Okay, it's 28 and 32, but that's going to increase. So that's what we're going to expect. Just like you expect a credit card machine, you're going to expect, or maybe people are slightly younger than you and I, but will expect, when I walk into a store, to know who I am and what activity I've undertaken on your website. So if I put something in the basket in the website, I expect you to know that I haven't bought it, I've put it in the basket. How are we going to, what's the next step in that process for the customer? So we've got to manage our shoppers, what we call 3 Ps, the profile, the personal history, and their preferences through this understanding of data to create data responsive environments. Soft space I mentioned, fluid, stage sets. Shops are going to be becoming more and more and behave more and more like websites where they respond to the way customers react with them and engage with them. So we can edit the space in real time. So we're no longer designing stores, we're no longer retail designers, we're stage designers, we're set designers. That's actually what we are. We're experience designers. So as Mariam Saltzman said in her amazing book, Next Now, this is the era of the surprising, the spontaneous, the unplanned, and the serendipitous, happy coincidences. When I boil it down, after 30 years in this industry, what we're designing is happy coincidences. That's when we believe we've succeeded. Well, it's an oxymoron. How do you design a coincidence? But if a customer can say, wow, I didn't expect that, that is interesting, surprising, That is very, very powerful. That's what we strive to do. That's our challenge. Our challenge is to design serendipity machines when it comes to shops and coffee shops, because it's no longer about sales per square meter. How many surprises per square meter can we design in our stores? How much engagement? How many senses? How much delight? How many smiles? Well, we can measure them, actually. New metrics, a new world. And if you're in the old world of designing interiors for shops, you're not going to be around for much longer, because retail has shifted and changed it. Because the new shops, the new experiences, the new spaces will speak like a magazine, will change like a gallery, will still sell like a shop in parts, will share like an app, will build loyalty like a club, will entertain like a show, and will play like a game. And companies don't fail because they do the wrong things. They fail because they continue to do what used to be the right things for too long. They kind of coast into failure. I came across many commercial estate agents were saying to us that Toys R Us are a really good bet for shopping centres and retail developments. They coast into failure. And do you know there are 3 types of people in this world and 3 types of business leader? Those who make it happen, those who let it happen, and those who wondered what happened. Don't wonder what happened if you are in the retail business. Get future ready. Thank you very much.